All right, before we get into the video, guys, I just want to ask you really quick, if you could find it in your heart to please subscribe to the channel. Only 5% of you guys are there. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs, so if you guys could please, it's free, it helps me out, and I would love you probably forever. So guys, I want to talk about something with you guys. I am doing some research here on the sales of both Pokemon ZA and Digimon. I will have that Digimon video coming up after this, but I wanted to look at the sales to see how popular and how successful these guys are really doing. And it's kind of interesting stuff we found. We did get notified by OmniArc TV when we watched the video the other day when we were reacting to his video that the sales were down. So I went and came and looked at it, and we see the sales for week 1, right? This is the week 1 for ZA in Japan. So they had 1.5 million copies sold. Well, that's pretty good, right? In the first week, 1.5 million. Great. When we look over here, they have 872,000 for the Switch, 612 for the Switch 2. That comes out to the 1.5. So that's great and everything, but the sales are tanking. If you come and look at week 2, this is so depressing. This is terrible. So if you see right here, we have ZA sold an additional 267 copies. 260, that's a huge, that's like an 85%, 82 or something percent drop off. So that's not normal in any franchise. If you think of movie theaters, when you go see a movie, additional like week 2 should be about like 50%, 50 to 55 is decent. And I'll show you guys here with some of the recent Marvel movies how Pokemon is kind of relating more to Disney now. It's kind of being compared to Disney. And I'll show you those movies stats right there. But it shows a Switch did 195 and the Switch 2 did 71,000. That's not good either. They should be switched. The Switch 2 should be selling more, right? We supposedly had so many sales in the Switch 2. So these numbers should be switched. So that means that people not only aren't buying the ZA, they're really not buying Switch 2s as often as they should be. Like, this should be a number that is totally flip-flopped in my opinion. Like, 195 should be for the Switch 2. And this is showing trends that are equal to Marvel's movies. So if you come over here, and what does this mean? What does this mean that they're equal to Marvel? This means that these are fanboys, right? So the fanboys just come out hard the first week, and then there's no additional business because there's no real hype for this product. So if we come over here, this is for Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts, out of the 3 movies that Marvel did this year, Thunderbolts has been the worst. It came at 190 domestic. If you come and look at the domestic, we'll see the drop off. It came out with 31 mil, 24, 17 opening weekend. And the next weekend, it comes in with 9, 13, and 9. That is a total of 54% drop, which is actually not bad in the numbers wise. But when you have a movie that's selling like nothing, when it's doing pretty bad already, 50% of nothing is not great. You know what I mean? These are not good numbers for an opening weekend for a Marvel's movie. And that follows the same trend with the other ones they've released. This one is a $200 million gross for the domestic. You'll see here, this one actually has a huge drop off. So we'll see Friday, 40, 27, 20. And then you come down to the next weekend. It's right here, 7, 12, 8. So Captain America did a, where is it? 68% drop. 68% drop. That's huge. So again, this is showing that these Marvel movies are very top heavy, meaning that the diehard, the fanboys, those people who are fighting and saying ZA is the best game I've ever seen in my life, those are the type of people that go see these movies first, buy these games first, but then the previous weekend nobody else is buying it because there's no real hype. This game is a failed game. It's a flop essentially. So this one is going to be for Fantastic Four. It's 61% or 66%. You come over here. This one did the best out of all of them. It had a 274 domestic, which is still terrible for a Marvel. And you'll see 57, 33, 27. We dropped it here 11, 15, and 11. So that gives us a 66% drop, which is terrible. So what does that mean, guys? That means that we have so many fans that are just rushing out, but nobody is following up. If you have a good product, it's going to sell continuously. So this is not a good sign for Pokemon ZA. And if you didn't watch the clip the other day with our boy OmniArc, we'll give that clip right now so you can see it. But these are not good numbers, guys. This is not good for the Switch. It's not good for Nintendo. It's not good for Pokemon. It means that, like, what Arceus did so much sales, I don't think it'll catch Arceus. I really don't think it'll catch Arceus, to be honest. And this is Japan. This is Japan sales we're talking about. And Japan was the strongest out of all the regions. So globally, it didn't do. We showed you in that one video we did the sales numbers. It didn't do that hot for global. It came behind the last 4 Switch games on the Nintendo for Pokemon, and now we're showing you the strongest region is doing worse and worse. So if that is in Japan where it's the strongest, what is it doing around the globe globally? So these are some pretty interesting numbers, pretty intense stuff going on. Just more evidence to throw into the fanboy's face by saying, "Hey, dude, you're preaching for a dying game. You're preaching for something that's failing. Can you stop and just stop with the fanboy and the cheerleading for things that are just like obviously not what you're saying? Like they're saying it's the best game in the franchise. Obviously not." Like, yes, maybe you think that, I guess, but you cannot honestly say this is a 10 out of 10 game when literally nobody's buying it. Nobody's buying it. So either it's a really, really bad game, or the argument is going to be that everybody is so brainwashed that they just follow the slop tuber opinions and they didn't buy the game. I don't think YouTubers have that much power over people. I don't think YouTubers are more powerful than the Pokemon brand. You guys can let me know in the comments below what you're thinking, but we'll show you that clip from OmniArch right now, and make sure you guys like and subscribe. I do need you guys to help me out and subscribe because we're really close to 1,000. So if you guys could subscribe, I would love you a long time. Love you a long time forever. But let's go to this clip here.
Pokemon got absolutely obliterated in its second week. What we can see here, this report covers October 20th to October 26th, and Famitsu published that Pokemon Legends ZA for the Nintendo Switch sold 195,000 units in Japan, and Legends ZA Switch 2 edition sold a further 72,000 units for a grand total of 267,000 retail copies in its second week, which sounds like a big number because conventionally it is, but let me remind you, week 1 it sold 1.48 million retail copies. So what does that mean? That means Pokemon Legends ZA saw an 82% sales reduction week over week. Sales actually just collapsed, and I know that I use that term in my titles and in my thumbnails, right? But that is objectively what just happened. Pokemon Legends,
and that is a collapse, guys. That is the definition of a collapse. Like I told you, when you have a product that comes out like that, like the movies, games, you want to see maybe a 50% decline week over week. You don't want to see an 82%. That's flop territory. That's failure territory. Thank God this game only cost, they only put $13 million in the budget, because this is, they got their money back at least, but this is not a good sign for the franchise. It's not good signs for the health of the franchise. This is not a good sign for any Pokemon fan out there, to be honest. Like, as a fan of Pokemon, this is not good for the brand. I just generally am like worried about the brand.
ZA completely failed to sustain its strong sales numbers with an 82% reduction in sales. So what does this mean? Well, I think the answer is abundantly clear. All of the Pokemon fanboys bought the game on day one, and once the reviews came out and everyone saw how absolutely garbage the game was, there wasn't a massive second wave of people who ended up picking up the game through word of mouth. That is typically what you would expect, right? If a game comes out, there's a hype period for it, right? And then once it comes out and everyone's like, oh my god, the game is so good, and then word of mouth spreads it even farther, right? And you have, you know, it not the exact same number of sales on week 2, but it's a drop off for sure, but it's not an 82% drop off, right? What actually happened here is the game came out, the fanboys gobbled down the slop and tried to gaslight the entire internet into saying that the game was good, but everyone who looked at this game objectively was like, wait a minute, that looks like trash. I'm not spending my $70 on that game. Absolutely not. Now, if we look at the exact same data for,
and that's how a lot of games get their sales. Like the first week, he said, like the Marvel stuff I showed you, you have a rush of the fans to come in, and then they give their word of mouth to their friends, their family, they post on their socials, they look at reviews, and the people who are maybe hurting for money, who don't have expendable income, they look at these reviews, they see what the outcome is, and then they say, okay, you know what, I don't have to risk, you know, my money, apparently it's going to be worth it, right? But everybody is seeing that this game is not worth it. If you have eyeballs, you could tell this game is not worth $100, the $70 plus a $30 season pass. Like, it's not worth it.
For Pokemon Legends Arceus, what you'll see is that in Japan, Legends Arceus sold 1.42 million retail sales in the first week. The second week, it sold 359,000. So again, a huge drop off, but that is a 75% reduction compared to Legends ZA's 82% reduction. And if you watched my previous videos, you'll know that Japan was like the #1 region that was the most hyped for Legends ZA. You could see that it was abundantly clear in the Google Trends search data. And so if the sales numbers are starting to look worse for Japan, and we already see that the sales numbers are worse in other regions in terms of the UK, in terms of Europe, in terms of Spain, and even globally Legends ZA is selling worse, it seems like the trajectory is starting to be finalized and the outcome is inevitable. The game is going to ultimately sell worse than Legends Arceus because the game is worse. I think it's literally, the Pokemon fanboys make all of these excuses for, oh, it's this, that, or the other thing. I even had somebody in my comments say it was Trump's fault, bro. I'm not even kidding. People's brains are
So there it is, guys. And I want to just show you something else really quick. Where is it? So if we come to Palworld over here, let's refresh this, see if the numbers are still the same. 49. Okay, so you come to Palworld. Palworld has been pretty successful. So January 2024 comes out, has its peak of 2.1 million, right? It drops within a month or so. What was it, 4 months? We're at 120. Then we're dropping to April, 4 months, 53. And it's been consistently about the 30s to 50 range. You know, some peaks, these are probably when they added more like the patches or something. 200 goes back down to 400. So this has been pretty consistent, sitting at like in the 40s, I would say, in the 40s to 50 range. And this is pretty amazing if you think about this. So when you look at the Arceus numbers compared to ZA, it's down. If you look at like Palworld right now has 50,000 people playing it. That's almost what? Almost like 35% of what the sales were for the ZA for the second week. So this is actually, it's pretty crazy, because I think there's, if you go watch on like Steam or on Twitch right now, are there 50,000 people playing any Pokemon games right now? Maybe ZA, because it just came out. But give it let's 4 months from now, let's go look at the Pokemon category. I'm pretty sure there's not going to be 50,000 people playing ZA. I'm pretty sure. So I just want to give you guys that quick little rundown, give you guys that information there. It is pretty drastic to see the drop off here, and we'll have that Digimon sales coming out here in a minute after this video, because that one is what I was actually more interested in, because we haven't got any numbers from that Digimon sales, and it's kind of concerning. It's kind of concerning for that game that we really haven't seen anything about the sales. And with the downfall of ZA, you would think that they would have been, hey, check out how many sales we made, guys. We're killing it. We're on top of the world. Look how good our game is. But we have not seen any of that stuff. So a lot of people say Bandai, you know, they just stay in their own lane. They're not really, you know, petty like that. But still, like, it's good business to just post what you're making to show your fans how successful the game is. And we haven't seen anything from Bandai. So that is alarming. So we are going to make that video here shortly after this one. But make sure you guys like and subscribe. I really appreciate you. We're really close to 1,000 subs. So you guys, I appreciate it. See you for the next one. Bye-bye.